Like I didn't know it worked like that. Like you see and they go complain to this certain politician, you see the politician move, and you like,
For
well, why
sure.
all the neighborhoods ain't like that? You know
For
what I'm
sure.
saying? And you understand if each one of these neighborhoods had representation from their neighborhood to go down there and say, hey, I represent 500 or 600 people that's gonna possibly vote for you.
Right.
They'll move for them. And at first, I didn't realize the power in that your one vote, because that's how it was. Like it's one vote, and like who cares? But it really matters, and it makes these politicians move a little bit, especially around election time. You can pretty much get almost anything you're asking for during election season. That's just something I learned in the past 5 or 6 years. Just being one hundred
Right.
percent honest, I was not paying it no mind, but I kind of understand now how important it is and how you could pretty much get anything you want if you have representation, and even from a state level right now, we got a lot of powerful politicians just from our area.
Yeah.
So now that I'm paying attention, you're starting to see popping up in Hampton Roads a lot of opportunities that's coming from the state level. Why? Because we have representation there now. The
Right.
same way with Northern Virginia had a lot of powerful people. This is just stuff I just learned, bro. I'm not like super
Learn
smart
through
or nothing. I
experience,
swear
right?
to
Man,
God, bro.
it
It's just
sounds like it
like
does.
in the past 5 or 6 years, I've seen so much stuff that's like,
Yeah.
damn, bro, we should have been doing this, man. You know what I'm saying? Like we should have been. When I say been doing it, meaning been around these politicians and been at these tables and dealing with the city and dealing with the administrators from the city level and stuff like that. Because you kind of learn, like you said, if you got people representing you, if you got people at the table, then your area will definitely get something. If you don't, you definitely gonna starve.
It don't matter.
And that's a powerful point you're talking about. Not only election time, but being able to get people out. But we're talking about tangibles, right? Call to action. Like, how do we leverage that, right? You talked about not necessarily being having all the knowledge, but it comes from experience.
Uh-huh.
Like a lot of us, I ran for office in 2020, so I didn't learn what tangibles or my non-negotiables were until I ran for office and I had to have those conversations, right? So again, like, how do we actually leverage these opportunities to get the tangibles that we need, not only during election time, but whether it's making sure it's in the operational budget or we have the sustainability through legislation and things like that. Like, how do we leverage these
Let me
opportunities?
step in for a minute, real quick. I mean, I'm about to bust over here. I really am. Because I've been right there where you're talking about, and I've seen how to leverage these opportunities. Give you an example. When we started the charter bus company, black-owned company, first charter bus company in Virginia since the pandemic, a lot of them went out of business. They couldn't afford to had to pay the insurances. I saw an opportunity to Virginia is for lovers. They came to me and said, look, we give you, I didn't go to, we give you X amount of dollars and market your business for you, right? In addition to that, the areas that I'm doing a lot of marketplace stuff in is in the south, western Tidewater area. I got 57 acres of land that was sitting there and wasn't nobody doing nothing with it. They said a black man would never own it, now own it. Came to me again and said, we want to build an opportunity, a solar farm of 27 acres of your land. Came through state legislation, talked with them, then they're going to give me $500,000. But my point in saying this is that there's opportunities out there. If you're going to get engaged, how do you leverage your brand? How do you leverage your resources or your idea or whatever that may be? Because there is money out there for that. But what I found out, frankly, a lot of us don't even know.
Do not know.
Do not know. Don't have. You got to have yourself ready. I got grant writers. I don't write grants. I got grant writers. I got people that gonna look at the opportunities and say, look, this is a good one. This is a good one. And then people say, we'll give you the money if you build it. We'll give it to you.
Right.
But we don't think that way. We think more like, oh, this is too big or this is too small or whatever it may be. And we don't really know what resources are available. You know, in the community, there are a lot of resources. Everything happens in the marketplace. Everything starts in the marketplace, which means that wherever you are and whatever you are doing, there's an opportunity to take what you're doing in the marketplace and find resources to connect it to it, not just for yourself, for the community. Everything's community driven with me, community based. All right, but I'm telling you, our people, that's our people. We have got to think differently. I see other people getting the money. And I'm like, how they getting this money over here if we got it
why you don't think we think differently though? Like we always be like we gotta think differently, but why aren't we though?
You know, we're not thinking differently, and I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there. Number one, mindset, different mindset. Number two is that because historically, most of us has been struggling many years, a generation of struggle, right, and not believing that we can do something differently, or do something the same, or even greater, or better than what they can do. When I say they, you know what I'm talking about. I don't have to put that out there. But at the end of the day, there are resources out there that we can capitalize on. But are we doing it? Most of us are not. Don't even know where to start.
Right. It boils down to education.
There you go.
First and foremost, I don't know why they put me up here, but you know how I give it up. So I'm sometimes I might say a bad word. And, I might not be politically correct, even though I dabble in politics, but I'm gonna give it to you straight.
It's a safe space, black man.
There are a lot of people, particularly in politics, that are counting on you to not know shit. Right? They will come to you and they will pander and sell you a dream under the assumption that you don't know any different. When it's campaign time and people are coming and knocking your doors and selling you these dreams, they're doing that because they know that you're not gonna pay attention to what they do later on. And I'll tell you a scenario rather. When I was sitting on this board of legislators in Richmond, I've always been rather honest, right? But I know how to maintain decorum, as they say. And so when we went on break, let me start with this. Prior to going on this break, the conversation came up about essentially which areas we would negotiate a gerrymander, which ones we would pack, which ones we wouldn't. And I didn't say anything at the time. I waited until break time came. And I went and asked this powerful senator from Northern Virginia, by the way. I slid over to him, not realizing that his mic was on, break time. And I said, hey, Mr. Senator, I said, the people are going to bomb us for this. And he looked at me dead in my face on a hot mic and said, no, they won't. Not enough of them pay attention. And he was right. I hate to say that, but he was right. There's not enough of us historically that paid attention to how these folks are voting on things. They don't know how we got to where we got to. And for me, that's the most upsetting part. And so that's why I as you say, why I'm so civically engaged is because I feel like it's my job, my duty, my obligation to educate and inform you, right? And to the other point, I think this series is called What's Next, right? I got a very good friend of mine out of Norfolk by the name of Delegate Jackie Glass, and we had this conversation a couple of years ago. We were attending all these events, some of the events that Dr. Eric was talking about, all these powerful events where they get people together and everyone feels galvanized and energized. And it was a great celebration, right? But at the end of this stuff, there was no call to action. And so my question, and you can ask her, was when she said, well, so what do you think? My question was, what's next? Like, so what do we do with this? Yeah, I saw such and such perform. I saw, all this other cool stuff. But where do we go from here? Like, do we learn anything from this? Do we make any connections? Is anybody motivated to go out here and run? Is anybody out here motivated to go and get their law license to start a not-for-profit? Is anybody motivated to have these conversations? That was my question. I don't give a damn about the performer. It was, what do we do next? And so to my earlier point is, how can I be helpful? What's next? Let me help. How can I be helpful?
Yeah, and leading by example in that regard.
I mean, listen, like we all on the battlefield for real. And a lot of times when you're at war, you like, damn, ain't nobody behind me. So people just give up real quick, like, ain't nobody behind me. Part of this process, what's next and all that, is to show like there's a lot of niggas behind you for real. Like we be like I was telling one gentleman earlier today, I was at the Keyshawn his press conference. And it was a dude like, man, we need to all just come together. And I had to chime in like, bro, we all coming together. Like we gotta stop these narratives, bro. It's really niggas really working.
Right.
This man just told you what he do for real. And I don't know if y'all know him, but his story is amazing to me. Every time I talk to him, I be like, damn, that shit is amazing. Cause he really doing work in Portsmouth that niggas don't even want. Niggas was scared to touch Portsmouth. This nigga really out here doing real work, and he in the meetings with them congressmen too, though, for real though. But he was doing it before it was like popular. He was just doing it because he cared. So like that's what went back to me saying about the civic engagement. Civic engagement isn't like some government shit.
Right.
We govern ourselves now. That's what's next. We gonna have to govern ourselves now, cause this shit about to hit the fan, bro. I don't know if y'all realize this shit about to get crazy.
And that's honestly where we have to also address when we talk about public safety and the safety needs in our communities, because this is actually the next stage in Maslow's hierarchy. So we want to make sure that if we don't prioritize the safety of our communities, people will take matters into their own hand. They will find ways to not only prioritize their own safety, but it may not reflect the initial outcome or the needs of our surrounding community, right? So these are the type of things that having these conversations, but also knowing that what safety looks like to each individual person may be different. So security and stability was the next stage in Maslow's hierarchy, and the question that surrounded that was that knowing that being civically engaged leads to direct partnerships and policymakers that affect long-term success, stability, and safety in our communities, why do we still continue to not be engaged? And that's kind of what we're talking about now, is like that notion of if the people aren't behind us, you might look around and not feel like you got to lead this charge.
I'll
Right.
chime in. Like a lot of your questions kind of all blend together, which are good because it's all one big issue. I think people aren't engaged because they feel like this is something they have to fake it, or it's not fun, or it's like distractions that are out there. Like my man Wap here, he's himself everywhere he goes, but he's really engaged, and that's inspiring to me, and should be inspiring to a lot of people. But again, to your point, that's how we know about those grants that are out there. That's how we know about that there's federal funding that are, just if you start a black business, minority business, there's money out there that will be given to you. Large amounts of money. You just got to follow up with them. But they don't want us to know that. So it feels as if when we're doing things, we get distracted about what we think is cool, or about what's we doing next, like in regards to not what's next in the positive point, what you're saying, but what's next of how we have self-gratification of having fun, but more so how we building as a community, what we're doing together. I think that is the point to where we get disengaged, because this is work, but it's not work. It should be fun work, because coming here, you're gonna meet somebody that could put you on, literally. And if they put you on, you could put somebody else on. Now we're building as a community. That should be fun in itself, and that goes back to your hierarchy. We're not here just to sit around and look at each other and talk, but again, what's next? Because to your point, we should all network and lead from here, because we can help each other. And then this room says that you have a point to say, I care enough to come out here. And that, to me, everybody in here is a leader. But each one of y'all represent people that are behind y'all, literally, because I know that, because probably some of your friends, family, probably wouldn't even be here. But the fact that you took the time to come out here, and to anybody else that's looking, this is not fun, but to me this is fun, because we're building as a community, and we can't do that unless we do things like this and make this fun. And it doesn't have to be fun. We can do fun things after this, and that's another thing. People think that if you do stuff like this, you're corny. That does not make you corny. It really makes you lit. It makes you super lit, honestly. Almost to the point where you can be considered a superhero if you're doing it the right way. But our society does not glorify that. But the thing is, each one that's in here are leaders, and I believe y'all are leaders. So look, take it on yourself to be accountable to yourself and that person in the mirror. Like, what am I doing today to better myself? Because I'm gonna tell you this: no matter who else is looking at you, you know what's going on. God knows what's going on. So you can fake it for whatever you want to fake it for. But when you wake up in the morning, you know what you did wrong and right. You know if you slacking. Everybody's like that. You just got to be accountable, and that's a part of it. But to answer your question, we get disengaged because it doesn't seem like it's something that's building. We're not getting anywhere with it, but we are. You just got to just stick at it. Our society these days is microwave. It's not microwave, man. You gotta slow cook it. I'm telling you, you gotta slow cook it. And when you slow cook it, I guarantee you gonna have what you want. How them turkey wings fall off the bone? Yeah. That's what you're looking for, right? You can't get that far off the bone feeling off the microwave, and it's really just that simple. It's just that simple. Again, that's my opinion, but I appreciate these questions.
Also, and I don't wanna control the conversation, but Sterling, I need you to speak. Not only because I've had the honor and privilege of being able to mentor Sterling at a younger age and meet him. I should more so say I didn't have as much of an impact in mentoring and being able to shape this young man into the person he is today. But meeting you at a young age and knowing some of the interactions that you've had, and some of the people that we've lost along the way, right? Yeah. We lost a lot of young people over the past few years, and that's why I'm super proud of you. But I think this conversation and this question is something that you could really speak to, because your generation right now is the key to our future. So what is your opinion on this?
Well, number one, I wasn't talking that much because there was a lot of gyms going on, so I had to
soak it in.
I had to sit in and soak it in. But I think that a lot of times the reason why at least my generation, Gen Z, isn't involved is because we don't know the purpose on why we should be involved. Because a lot of times we just see people knocking on doors, and see people coming together and praying, and seeing people come together and do all these building products. But we don't really know the real reason why and the purpose. And because of that, a lot of times Gen Z don't want to move into it because it ain't benefiting themselves or they don't see the benefit. They don't want to do it. When the truth of the matter is, when you're involved in civic type of things, it builds you personally more than just builds the community as well. It teaches you grace, it teaches you humbleness, it teaches you work ethic. When I was knocking on doors my freshman year of college, I was tired. But the truth of the matter is, it taught me how to be a hard worker. I think the way that we push, especially Gen Z, to do things is that number one, we teach the purpose. Number two, there has to be something involved to show that we care. For me working with JP, I was shown that he cared about me because he spoke up for me in my generation. I think if we had leaders that learn how to speak up, not just in council, but also simply in churches, not just in churches, but as you say, doing charter buses and speaking up on the benefits. I think that's two reasons why how we can really get people involved. But number three, really, I think we just have to break it down. I think if we try to be all, speak like we're from Harvard, really we're ready from Golden State, it's not going to work. I think my generation wants authenticity. You want to be authentic. Show me that you care. I want to see your heart, not your flesh. And I think that's the main thing that really is the reason why we're not getting Gen Z involved. I think we can get Gen Z involved if we learn how to find solutions to those issues.
I think Gen Z's been through a lot of shit too, man.
Yeah.
Pandemic, like
Changed
all
the
that
whole
stuff.
game.
Been like the stages y'all would go through to
Yeah.
care about shit. Like the world came to a complete stop.
And we were just in the
Y'all niggas was honking horn. They were honking horns at grandma for graduation type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit. Y'all are a little different, but it's still like it might be something there though. Like that kind of freed y'all from caring about stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's just bridging the gap. That's why when we built this panel, it's a wide variety of age, culture, like different places in life. We got lawyers, niggas been in the street. We got, you know what I'm saying, councilmen. We got all type of shit. We got pastors. We got college kids. Like it needs to be different stages that we hear from. You know what I'm saying? Like so we can get the full picture as opposed to like one-sided version of it.
Yeah. I think especially, I'm going to just hit this part real quick. We talk a lot about voting, but a lot of times Gen Z ain't going to vote because you don't know really the reason why we should vote. You don't know the back history or what our people had to go through to vote. So I think it needs to be some initiative where we push the purpose of things. Don't just tell me to do it without telling me why I need to do it. Because
Right.
Gen Z going to say, the first thing we're going to say is, well, why? And if why doesn't make sense and it's just benefiting you, then we're not going to help or push things.
Hey, do y'all think the elections in recent past have become like more of a popularity contest?
That, but then also I believe it became more of an entertainment thing.
Yeah,
than
like,
politics.
Yeah.
I think,
you know what I'm saying?
we posted on the Shade Room and social
Like we're
media,
not
just
even
laughing
paying
at
attention
what's
to
going
what
on.
their policies are.
Right.
Like I like him or I like her, so I'm gonna vote for her.
For sure.
It's a money thing.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's a money thing. If I'm being completely honest with you, I can drop another gem on you if you want to know.
But let me say this one. I'm sorry.
So back when I first started running, when you call time, that's when you call different people. When you call different folks, say, hey, look, I'm running. I need X amount of dollars. I found out real quick that our folks, my folks, we weren't so keen on donating to political campaigns. And at the time, I genuinely thought that it was for my campaign. Like I'm gonna raise this money so that I can run my campaign and win, right? So I said, you know what, I can shoestring it. I can do it. $40,000 seems like a lot to me. It was never really about me. It wasn't about what I could raise for me or what I could raise to win my campaign. It was what I could raise to give to the rest of my party. So to your point, when you say it's about a popularity contest, absolutely. Who can raise the most money?
Oh, no,
It's
for
not
sure.
about who's the
Yeah.
best person. It's who can raise the most money. And that's who we're gonna go with because we know that if we can give the people at the top this X amount of dollars, they can trickle it down to everybody else running along
Right.
I want to share something with y'all. My business partner and I, we got a project in Palm Beach, Florida, that we are working on. And we was riding around Palm Beach that evening looking for something to eat. And we ended up on the same neighborhood where former President Trump lived. He had just had a meeting the day before, the night before. Bezos and all them, Jeff and all them had come there. When I went there, when we saw the streets blocked off, you could see it from the bridge. I said to myself, this is crazy. It was people more than you could even imagine. And I'm after all that we've heard, after all that we've been through, now all that's been referring, these people are still supporting him. I ain't talking about small crowds. I'm talking about streets blocked off. I'm talking about the whole nine. But I'm not here to talk about politics, but I'm here to tell you one thing. Is that as we was talking about the political part and talking about all the things, we gotta put our hands to the plow. There's no more time off of sitting back letting everybody else do the work. You gotta put your hands to the plow. You gotta get involved. Every week I get so many emails from the NAACP about what's happening in Virginia Beach. I got 6-year-old kids, okay, that's being taken down. We got young folks being taken down. And 99.9% of the complaints that we get here in Virginia Beach, they're on speed dial with the chief of police, when something happens in Virginia Beach, I get it right away. He get my stuff right away. It's blacks. Mental health. Major issue. And I always said that if you don't think you got any type of mental health issue, you already got a problem. All of us were impacted by COVID. Nobody was exempt. Not one of us. But my point in saying this is that when we start talking about engagement and what's next and all this other stuff, you know, my daughter's a global news person, New Kelsey. She's 29 years old. God has blessed her to be a global news person. And her generation is like, hey, Dad, you know, it didn't work for y'all. We ain't about going out in the streets and putting up signs and walking down the street. It ain't work yet. We still having worse issues. It's getting worse, not better. You know what I mean? We gotta have our voice be spoken up. But the last thing I would say to you is this: know your assignment. If you don't know your assignment, you do anything. Know your assignment. Know what you assigned to. And my lawyer friend here, he said something, because if you know your assignment, it's not work. You're passionate about your assignment. I left $180,000 a year job on my own, working for Xerox as a senior executive, was going to work, private jet, the whole nine. And I walked away from it because I had a better assignment. Was I afraid after I walked away? Yeah. But God worked it out. Okay? The same company I left, the same company called me back and said, can you be a consultant for us and we pay you $100,000 for 6 months? But you have to know your lane and know your assignment. Whatever you are passionate about in life, that's what you got to go after. You only got one life. And as we begin to work together, we begin to bring unity together, we can move mountains. But what I'm finding is that, particularly the younger generation, they really don't know. You know, they don't know their assignments. And what they've seen is they've seen historically things happening that has not benefited their families, have not benefited them. So why should I do it? I had a 24-year-old girl last week wrote a suicide letter to her family. 24 years old, living at home, wrote a suicide letter. Ended up in Maryview Hospital. How could life be so bad at 24 years old? You ain't got no bills, you home with your family, but psychologically. And this is what we got. It starts in the mind, y'all. And once we get this squared away, everything else can move. But if this ain't right, it ain't. I guarantee you right now, half of us in this room, we don't sleep at night. Or we think all night long. It's there. That's only because we have to make sure that we are in tune, not just from a work perspective, from a career perspective. You can be successful in life and blow your brains out. Right? It starts here. And when we're going to get engaged in our community and we're going to do things and we're going to make a difference, it starts right here, and you got to take a chance. I never wanted to be in politics. I think God set me up. When I got to NAACP, ain't nothing but politics. I never wanted to sign up to be in politics.
Life is politics.
Life is politics.
So you say it's here, but I mean,
And then you got to get in your heart.
but how does it get here though?
So you got to read what the Bible says. Retrain your mind.
Right. But everybody don't understand that though.
I get that part.
So like I feel like a lot of us in here we retrained our mind. Or like I was saying the other day, I was saying to someone, like this was engineered for the conditions that we're in. So
Right.
we have to do reverse engineering.
And those conditions are definitely a big part of society
We
and the
do.
social interactions that we have
Yes.
and the social construct.
But hold on real quick before you go to the all I'm saying is with that being said, bro, like how do we reach the masses just because this group might get it, so and so get it in his pocket and this person.
That's a real.
Us
that's a real,
little 8 or 20 people in here, I mean we could change the world, but what I'm saying is like we gotta mass produce this shit.
I like that. I like what you really
Come on, teach me.
And
Real
I also
quick.
want to teach you
I like that.
before y'all respond.
I'm gonna shake shit up every once in a while.
Use
Keep
this
on that
response.
shit.
Use that response because it actually is
I like that.
perfectly into the next step. So now we're in the love and belonging stage, right? So we talk about belonging, identity, like what you feel like you're a part of. I need y'all to not only incorporate your response into this question, but for everybody else in this room, zoom out. So for our OGs and old heads in here, zoom out. Because we're asking a question that's very intentional, but we're talking about this village, right? And right now, what everybody has agreed on is that society, a lot of us have learned through interaction that in society, being successful is what? Being able to put food on the table, a roof over your head, and clothes on your back. There are plenty of people who are doing that, but they're not doing it by legal means. They're not doing it by means that are socially accepted. The love and belonging that we have is a really important piece. But to go out here and tell any of our young boys that they can't do this when they're actually providing does not make sense to them. It's not real. And what you're telling them to do is like, this is something that provided for me to get to the point where I'm at. If you can't give me something better right now.
Exactly.
We talked about it, big hump. Like when we opened the trauma recovery center, we had to relocate people. I can't send my young boy back to the block knowing that people gonna shoot his house up. Because what's he gonna do? He's gonna defend himself. He ain't gonna defend his family. So what you feel like you're belonging and a part of is huge, right? But if it takes a village to raise a child, as black men, how can we build bridges to create more identity and representation in our communities to build generational wealth? So those bridges need to represent what the outcome we expect. Because those same bridges could be, again, means that work for the current circumstances they're in. And to try to ask them to do otherwise without having something tangible to be like, this can make you just as much bread or more, not talking about 2 to 4 years from now, you're not hearing that. So with the response that you were just going to give, also incorporate this question. How do we build those bridges and incorporate the identity representation that we need to build generational wealth?
Yes. I was gonna come at you first because it's deep. Like what you're doing with the big homies. I mean, that's a part of it.
Cause I was about to say that with these kids, bro. Like I've learned this. Well, I knew anyway. I didn't really have to learn it because I knew. Cause I was them. I come on, hustle my entire life. I'm 48 right now. My entire life, and I used to always tell people, "I want you to stop." And I used to be like, "You give me something that's. I mean, it don't even gotta be equivalent, but at least close. Why I don't? Why? Because if I hustle that long, how many people I'm taking care of? I'm taking care of 20, 25 people at one time. So if I fall, they all fall. So if you want me to stop, if you really want me to stop, you have to give me something that's going to at least help me maintain this lifestyle. So when dealing with these kids, I learned that. For people that always try to go to the neighborhoods and deal with the kids and didn't really get no traction is because you telling him to stop what he's doing, and then when he asks you, okay, because I had a kid ask me this. He said, okay, say you right. I stop, now what? You know what I'm saying?
What's next?
Do you have something for this kid right now? You know what I'm saying? So what I had to start doing, especially early, is being creative. Like when I'm sitting at the table in these meetings with the Hampton Roads Workforce Council, TCC Workforce, like I'm looking at opportunities. Like, hey, look, if I bring this kid, can you do something for him right away? You know what I'm saying? And they like yeah. And there's been times where I took a kid somewhere and they like, hey, can you come back tomorrow? It's too late today to fill out. And guess what? The kid didn't answer the phone for me the next day. You know what I'm saying? So, and you relay that message to the people that have these opportunities, because most of these places, bro, that's the other thing I learned. There's a lot of opportunities out here, but the kids have no idea this stuff exists. Right. So, in our early stages, that was our bridge. We was the bridge in between the resource and the people who needed it. That go for kids, adults, like anybody, and you're gonna get that because if you're constantly in these neighborhoods, then everybody coming to you. Like if we all in Lincoln, if we all in Dale's home, and y'all all see me helping WAP, eventually y'all gonna come to me and be like, "Hey man, can you help me too, man? I see what you're doing for WAP, man. I need a job too, man. I've been ready to stop doing this stuff." So you kind of, but the key is what? You gotta go out there. Cause they ain't coming to you. They are not coming to you.
They gotta get exposed to different opportunities.
For sure.
And I heard you mention earlier, like leveraging relationships. So, a quick story. I met City Councilwoman Sabrina Wooten about 5 years back. She was running for City Council, and I seen her at an event talking about Ignite business seminars and how she was trying to help small businesses gain funding. So I'm like, okay, she really got a heart for the people. She's doing the work. And she mentioned that she would like people to help her pass out door tags so she can get reelected. So I'm like, okay. I signed up. I helped her out, not thinking nothing would come of it, but I was like, I like her mission, and I felt her sincerity. So she gets reelected. Long story short, and she goes, "Hey, thank y'all for y'all help. How can I help y'all in return? Like, who's been here on my team?" So I invited her out to our Juneteenth event we had at the juice bar that our shop is currently at. She came out, and her husband came. They had a good time, and she was like, this was a good event. And we were like, how would this event look at the oceanfront? She was like, you know what? Send a proposal over on my desk, and I'll submit it to City Council. That proposal got sent to City Council, and it got voted on by 10 City Council members. Majority rule, 9-1 vote. They made Juneteenth an annual event with the city of Virginia Beach. They gave us $100,000 this year to do the festival, and we were able to give $7,500 away to small businesses through a pitch competition that even Cameron was one of the recipients of. So it's being being exposed to opportunities and unlocking your mind. So for me, being having a nonprofit and also tapping into the schools, this is how we tie it in, right? For what I saw for my team. Yeah. We don't want to just be able to do events and have fun. We want to actually do something that's going to change lives and create generational wealth or opportunities for small upcoming artists or even youth. So we're like, let's go into the schools with the All That Sauce program. Let's work with the kids and then create a system. So now that you're in school, you're doing good, you're following our program. Once you get out of school or summertime, you come to the festival. Something I feel like we could do together big time. You come to the festivals and you learn production, creation, lighting. You learn photography, media, and you learn how to develop different skills than just what you're constantly around every day. Because you can have a longer career by doing the background stuff and make $75,000, $100,000 a year doing lighting, doing photography, doing media, doing things behind the scenes. So you don't got to be a prominent rapper to get big and to have a successful career. That's something that 1% of people actually do in their lifetime. Yeah. But just having a mindset of how can you reach back and create opportunities, I think that's how we can bridge the gap.
I think the average person don't know that either. I get a lot of people asking, like, hey, I want to do something, I want to help, but either one, don't have the funding, or kind of don't know where to start. Now, I was actually talking to these girls who run a podcast, and I was telling them it takes $0 for you to go pick up 3 or 4 girls and let them just hang out with you for the day. You got 2 shows to do your podcast. They see how you put it together. They watch
Right.
how you put the questions
For
together.
sure.
Just letting them hang with you costs you $0. But that impression it could have on that kid, like even I used to send kids with my guy who flip houses. They demoing houses for him, and he's talking to him, telling them how he spent $60,000 for this house, put 30 in, and he about to make 200 off of it. They like, what, 200,000 off of? This is stuff that you would think they know or they should know, but they don't, bro. And a lot of that stuff, when you start talking numbers with these kids or doing something that they ain't gotta risk their life and they can still make money off of, maybe something they interested in, man. I just think that's how you kind of. So like like you said, educating people who got small businesses or who want to do stuff on a small scale, just let them know it's kind of easy to do it, man. You just gotta go do it, bro.
Let me share something with you about, you tapped into this stuff. I'm in the real estate business, and God has really blessed it. And
Hey, can he bless me with your man?
Yeah, I never thought that.
Hey.
I never thought that you could buy real estate for absolutely no money. I thought that was a scam on TV. You know, you can pay something, pay $199 to go to a class. And one of my houses that I had listed, this white guy came to me. He said, "Hey, Eric," he said, "I got an idea." He said, "I want to buy this property." I said, "Okay, cool. Got me a contract. I'm ready to go. Let's get this thing done." Blah blah blah. It was in Newport News. So as we started working the deal, he looked at me and he said, "I'm not putting no money down, no money whatsoever in it." How is this gonna happen? Man, they taught me some stuff, took me to